It took me one video to monetize my channel, and I've had my channel for 7 years, and I've also posted over 100 videos. There are a lot of things that I've learned in that time, but I believe that the most valuable things that I've learned is what I applied to this video, and essentially the reason why I was able to monetize my channel. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing everything that I did that, in my opinion, made a difference. I'm going to be covering everything from thumbnails and titles to the research I do before I decide whether a video is actually worth even filming or not. We'll take a look at my analytics on the video that finally got me monetized, and as we go through it, I'll share what I think I did differently from my old videos, and my hope is that you'll be able to apply some of the things that I share to your own videos in order for you to monetize your channel as well. Of course, if you are watching this video, I'm assuming that you have a channel, you've posted some videos here and there, maybe you've posted a lot of videos, maybe you haven't posted that many, but you have some kind of an idea of how YouTube works and the amount of effort and the amount of time that goes into it. You've probably also watched a lot of different YouTubers and YouTube help and how to get monetized, how to do this, how to do that, and you end up picking up little things from every separate person and then kind of trying to incorporate that all in one. I'm gonna link the videos that I found most helpful during this journey in my description. The two creators that I constantly go back to, even at this point where I feel like I've learned a little bit more about the platform and what I want to do with it and stuff, they just always have such great ideas and great ways of explaining things, way better than I would do, honestly. The first person I think is going to make a huge difference in your channel is Aprilyn Alter. She has such great videos on how to edit, how to make your intro stronger, how to structure your thumbnail, how to do your titles well, how to even go through research. She takes you through the start and end of a video. She has great PDFs that she lets you download for free. And the second one is Ali Abdal, which I've been watching his channel for so many years. I watch him for multiple different things. Like, he is a productivity guru. He speaks a lot about how to grow on YouTube and how to become successful and how to make it a business. The first thing that I had to realize was that not every video is a good video. The first thing that I really had to hone into was who I'm making the video for. So who's my audience? What do they need at this point in life? What are they doing? What do they want? What are they trying to improve? What are some areas that they're struggling in? How can I help them, or how can I satisfy any of their needs? Be that through relatability, through giving advice, through showing how I do something. How can my video add to their life in any way? The videos that you make have to be audience focused. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't make videos that you want to make. You just have to keep in mind that you are not making them for yourself. The simplest way that I feel like I can put this is when it comes to a day in the life video. If I don't know who you are, I've never seen you on my For You page, there's no actual value or anything that you are offering me in your day in the life, why would I watch it? Because I don't know who you are. You're not adding anything to my life. I'm spending 15 to 20 minutes watching your video and I'm not going to get anything out of it, not even entertainment. I think day in the life videos are great if you are showing something a little bit more specific, where if you're gonna do a day in the life, don't just do a day in my life. That's too vague. For that to be a good video idea, you would have to make it a day in the life of a 25-year-old travel nurse living in the US. My point is that you need to know who you're speaking to in order for your videos to do well. If you don't know who you're talking to, then you're talking to no one. It needs to resonate with the person watching it. Think about the videos that you end up leaving a comment on. I love to watch YouTube, but I don't comment on every single video, right? I will comment if something really touches me or if something really makes me laugh, like something that brings up some kind of emotional reaction. That's what gets me to comment. So think about the videos that do that. Those are the ones that you want to put a little bit more effort into. And like I said, I'm not saying that you can't do the videos that you yourself are interested in. You just have to understand that if you are wanting to make money or make it a business, or actually reach these goals that you might have of subscriber count, of watch time, things like that, you're going to have to incorporate both. You're going to have to do what your audience wants to see, and you can also do what you want, but you need to have both. If you're only posting videos that you want to make and you want to make this a business or a stream of income, it's not going to work, because that's more like of a hobby mindset, where I just want to make videos for myself to kind of look back at, or I just want to vlog my life or something like that, which is completely fine, but it is more more of a hobby perspective of YouTube. If you are wanting to make it a business, you need to be offering your audience some kind of value. Without a value, no one is going to care. Aprilyn has a really good video where she talks about video recipes and what goes into making a video successful. So I'm going to leave that on the screen and leave it linked in my description as well. She explains everything so well, and I think that's a great resource to have. The second thing that I did with my video that ended up getting me monetized and that I'm trying to do with my videos going forward is to do research on the video. You have an idea, you're like, okay, this could be a good video. You want to then go on YouTube, put yourself on incognito and put in that title or put in some keywords that you're thinking of that would bring up that topic on your YouTube and see what's already on the platform. Is this a topic that people are talking about? Is it a video idea that is already successful? Is it something that is going to work? Is it worth even making another video on that? What already exists on the platform and how are those things performing? Another thing to consider is that your video ideas don't have to be reinventing the wheel. You can very well go on YouTube, see a type of video that is trending or that has been successful for other creators and do your own version of it. This is honestly the thing that helped me the most with my video that ended up getting me monetized. I was just sitting on YouTube watching a video and I was like, oh, that's such a great video idea. I loved watching it. I loved the takes that she had in that video. I saw the title, I saw the setup. I was like, okay, this is something I can do, but obviously I'm not going to talk about the same thing that she's talking about because my channel is not about whatever her channel was about. Her channel was way smaller and the views on that video went crazy. A lot of the time that's an indication that it is an outlier, that it's a good video idea. When you're doing your research for videos, you want to look more at smaller channels because bigger channels will get views regardless because they already have an established audience. But when it comes to smaller creators, there's very specific kinds of videos that you will see will kind of blow up. Those are the kind of videos that you want to pay attention to and see, you know, what is the topic? Why did this work? What about it can I kind of incorporate in my own video? I have one tool installed on my computer. It's called vidIQ. I like using it just to kind of brainstorm ideas when I see a video that I like and I kind of want to do something similar. So if you click on that, here are some ideas, right? So the first one is 5 fitness trends influencers have tricked us into thinking are healthy, but they aren't. 7 workout habits fitness influencers want you to believe are essentials, but are they? That's a really good tool. These are things that you can kind of jot down and workshop them and see what's popular on the internet at that point and then, you know, come up with a video idea of your own. I wouldn't just take this and be like, yeah, this is the video that I'm gonna make. Every single YouTube advice video that I've watched tells you how important the thumbnails and titles are. They're so right, and you need to stop leaving it for last. Another change that I've implemented into the way I plan and make my videos is that I don't leave the titles and the thumbnails for last anymore. That is the first thing that I'm doing. If I have any idea, I'm already thinking about what the title is going to be, what the thumbnail is going to look like. I'm going on YouTube, I'm seeing what videos already exist around that topic. What do their thumbnails look like? What are the prominent things in it? What is some text that I could include in my thumbnail to make it pop off or make it different to the ones that already exist? The thumbnail and the title do half of the work. The other half comes from the content of the actual video. But in order for you to get the watch time that you need to get monetized, you need people to click on the video, which means that the way you package the video is really, really important. And it's not something that you should be leaving for last or only spending, let's say, 10 minutes on the thumbnail. You just throw something together and then you post it. You need to put as much time and effort into the thumbnail as you do with scripting and editing and putting the video together and everything like that, because you could have a great video, but if the thumbnail and the title are not something that cause me to click on it, I'm not going to watch it. I used to think about my videos and whatever I'm putting out as if they exist on their own. They don't. When you post a video, you are competing with so many other videos just on the homepage, right? It's different to TikTok and Instagram where you're kind of scrolling, so you end up seeing like everything one by one. So you need to make sure that your title and your thumbnail are enough to incentivize a click. 1 million people have essentially seen and scrolled through or clicked on this thumbnail, which is a lot, but the thing that matters is the impressions click-through rate. So the number of people who are seeing it and clicking on it is 4.6%, which is, in my opinion, low. My views for this video was super high. it is 62.7 thousand more than usual, which my channel averages, or it used to average between like 1,000 to 2,000 views on my videos. Most of my views came from YouTube recommending my content, which is amazing. You want your video to be on the homepage. You want YouTube to be the one recommending your content, because that means so many more people are going to see it, and YouTube is pushing your video. YouTube will push your video if it is a video that people are engaging with, a video that people are clicking on, a video that people keep watching. Once again, Aprilyn has such a good video on how to improve your titles and thumbnails. I will leave it linked below. The thing that I found that has been really helpful for me in my thumbnail making process and like deciding what titles are going to be is creating a curiosity gap. It's essentially being able to structure something or make the thumbnail in a way that makes someone inquisitive. It's like those before and after kind of videos where you have the before and the after in the thumbnail, but then it's like, okay, what did you do to get there? In my specific video, my thumbnail says, is this necessary? Is what necessary? You know, the thumbnail also has luxury activewear in it. It has overhyped fitness trends. So then it's like, oh, okay, she's talking about this and this, but I want to know what exactly is necessary. So that's a curiosity gap that I believe was formed. You can tell me. And then the title is 5 things influencers can convince me as a gym girl. First, we already have the topic of influencers, which has been so popular over the past few months. And then you add the gym girl. And then we know that is a video related to fitness. This is not something that was random for me, because I didn't know that it was going to do this well, but I knew that the topic itself was something that had potential to do well. And so the stars kind of aligned, but it's not something that I won't be able to replicate again. So now that you've packaged the video well enough, we need to actually speak about the content of the video. And this is where the value of the content comes in. So you need to make sure that you're offering some kind of value to your audience. Something else that I found that made a huge difference in this video is that the intro was super clear, precise. It was attention grabbing. It kept you engaged for those few minutes of the intro. And that is the most important part of the video, because that's what gets people to stick around. So on this part, in the first 30 seconds of the video, I go crazy on my editing. I'll put everything under the sun, maybe not everything under the sun, but I'll make sure that I front load a lot of the editing at the start of the video, because I wanted to get your attention and I want you to be hooked within that time. The second thing that I've started doing a lot is making sure that the first sentence of my intro matches the title of the video. Once I heard this tip and I started watching other videos, I realized that a lot of people actually do this. I'll also make sure that I'm stating what you should expect from the video, what it is that you're gonna see in the video. Like at the start of this video, I said that I'm gonna be covering the title, the thumbnails, and the research that I do in the videos. That's exactly what I've told you. As a viewer, when you see the packaging of the video, you're like, okay, this is a video about how it only took her one video to get monetized. You click on the video, I'm saying that same thing again, and I'm also telling you what I'm gonna go through. It gives you the chance to decide whether or not you are going to keep watching that video, if it's something that you're interested or not. It tells you whether or not I'm going to be delivering on the promise that I made with my thumbnail and my title. After the first 30 seconds of the video, you're not confused about what the video is anymore. You kind of know what you're getting into and what you're going to be spending your time on, because at the end of the day, it's time that people are spending watching your video. So the watch time on this video alone is 7.2 thousand, which is 7.1 thousand more than usual. And that's so much. That's like 100 hours that I used to get, let's say, per video. And all those little videos that I posted weren't enough to get me to 4,000. We can see that the average view duration went from 3 minutes to 6 minutes. That's a long time as well, in my opinion. We can look at my videos before that, right? So we have this one here that performed well. And then before that, you can kind of tell that my videos were like 500. This one was 2,000 views because I was talking about Honor Active. I think people search for hauls all the time. There's 1,000 views, 2,000. I was consistently getting like 1,000 views at some point. Another thing that I love to do, I don't know if this has helped anyone at all, but this is just something I like doing. I like to include chapters in my description so that people are able to move back and forth between whatever topic they want to watch. Sometimes there is a lot of fluff at the start or in the middle or wherever in the video, and me personally, I don't like sitting through some of it. So if you feel like I've been rambling a lot in this video, there's probably going to be some chapters down there, and you can kind of skip to each section and see, you know, what you want to pay attention to. That's everything that I believe made a difference in getting my channel monetized with that one video. And it's actually kind of crazy, after 7 years of trying to get monetized, that it took one singular video for me to actually reach that goal. And it really goes to show that once you really hone in on these little things that you could be doing to make your video better, and if you want to make it into a business, if you want to make money from it, you need to see it from a different lens rather than like a more self-centered one, if that makes sense. Another thing that I kind of want to share with you is that you need to post the videos. You have to keep posting. That's how we learn. You're not going to be able to incorporate all of these things all at once. It's such a process. You really have to go through posting videos to then slowly improve and get to where you want to be. It's not something that's going to happen in one video. I really hope that you're able to take something away from this video. I'm wishing you the best of luck. Keep at it. You will monetize your channel. You will get there. If I could do it, so can you. I promise you. You just have to make sure that you are improving as you go. If you've made it to this point in the video, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.